So what I want to do now is actually show you, in the context of one wedding day, different types of bridal party shots. And showing you something very recent, like what are the kind of group shots that you would do at a groom's coverage, a bride's coverage, when they get together as a family. Not showing you every last one of them, but giving you an idea of what one would expect in this kind of a context. So these are straight out of the camera. Nothing's been done to them, so please don't judge me on my colour correction and retouching. This is just purely for the nature of seeing what we're doing in the context of group shots. Now, so yes, you will not photograph a bride, a groom and mother the way you would photograph a bride and a groom. But can you hold hands with mum and be nice and close that resembles that beautiful relationships that a mother and son would have? Of course. In this case, they're looking off to a friend and having some fun. There would have been shots looking in the camera smiling, of course. Mum's showing off the ring. They had a bit of a giggle, so I went a bit wider and got that shot as well. Yes, there would have been shots looking in the camera smiling of the grandparents, but this says so much more about their relationship. Wouldn't you agree? And then while we're there, of course, we're going to be photographing the whole family as well. So here you have this beautiful little moment, the beautiful siblings there as well, and then the overall shot. Of course, you've got the mum. So basically the dad wasn't present, so we've got mum, and then we've got the brother and sister gone with the groom. But you can sort of see how many combinations that we've done with this very small little family, and again, excluding the bride. So if you are photographing a wedding, it's important that you do not dismiss the groom's coverage as just irrelevant or not that important because that's just the groom. This is the last time the groom will be photographed as a single person or at the family home or wherever it may basically be. So remember that these shots are very important and don't just dismiss them as irrelevant because they are. And if not, at least to the bride and the groom, maybe to the parents or maybe future children, that might happen. So let's say we've done those group shots of the family, and now we're actually onto the groomsmen photographs. So in this case, I just ended up photographing the guys looking in the camera smiling. I've got my safe shot, but then I changed my angle, photographed at 1.8. Now I've got the groom in focus. Then I can take a different kind of groom shot. So here you can sort of see how all the guys are posing the way I've actually taught you how to pose as far as guys are concerned, on a bit of an angle. And in this case, I got the groom to just bend his legs and just to break the monotony of a predictable kind of posing for all the guys. And not that that's a problem, but sometimes I just break it up a little bit. And then quickly, I can just get the groom in the foreground, and then again, I've got a different shot again. How else do we do shots with, say, bridesmaids in this particular wedding? Well, it could be that she's getting her garter on. So now this particular room was very, very small. We had one sort of natural, one window light, and we had to make it work. So now I crop in, I get almost a vignette of bridesmaids framing the bride, and that's how we do it. Now we're photographing the bride with mum. Yes, there would have been a shot with mum looking in the camera smiling, but this is the one I prefer. Then we have a bit of a reveal. So dad hasn't seen the bride yet as a bride. So we have this beautiful moment, dad's waiting on. We build anticipation, and guess what happens? All of a sudden, he's already about to start to cry. She's holding back tears, and now he's looking at her, just like it was yesterday that she was born. Then we have a bit of a hug, and you can see that beautiful emotion from the father. And then I let that simmer a little bit. Then I get the mum back in, and of course she's crying because who wouldn't at that particular case? And then whether I told dad to kiss the hand or whether it happened naturally, who cares? The fact is it's beautiful. And then there would have been a shot like this, looking in the camera smiling, but then I get them interacting, and you've got to feel something. If you don't feel anything looking at that photograph, you're missing a heart, or a heart, as you might say in America. Of course, if you've been following along with this particular coverage, now I photographed the bride and mum, then I photographed the reveal, then I photographed them all together, but I haven't photographed dad yet. So don't forget that sometimes you'll have a repertoire of photographs of group shots. Someone will interrupt the moment, someone's not ready, and all of a sudden you've just missed your flow. And now you could miss a totally important photograph that if you didn't do it, that would be really bad for you. So come back and then photograph the dad. Yes, there would have been a shot looking in the camera smiling, but this is the one that speaks more to me. Yes, we've got shots of looking in the camera smiling with the grandparents. And then, so one set of grandparents could be quite traditional and formal. So therefore, looking in the camera is probably a better shot than the one interacting. Every so often, when you get them interacting, someone will have what I call those druggy eyes, that half blink. Someone will cover up somebody else. Therefore, that interactive shot is unusable. So therefore, in the album, it might in fact be that that traditional shot looking in the camera is the one that you actually use. But with the other grandparents, we got them interacting and laughing just fine, and that worked. Then what we haven't done is basically the bride, the parents and the brother. So now we get that shot looking in the camera smiling, and yes, there would have been interactive shots. Then I get one with the brother because we didn't do that shot yet. And then of course we've got the whole family. We've got the bride, we've got the parents, the brother, the grandparents on either side. And because there's so much distraction, I've cropped it in nice and close. I think from memory this is a 5x4 format in camera crop, and then that's how we did it. So now that we've actually done a series of shots of the groom's side and the bride's side, then now it's time for those big family group portraits after the wedding. So there are so many people, I'm running out of time. The chairs were already there for the ceremony, and I'm like, just let's get it done. Done's better than perfect sometimes. So we get the chairs in a row, get everyone sitting down. I can see everybody clearly. It's not rocket science. It's not going to win an award, but it's an important family portrait, and we get it done and we move along. Remember how we talked about kids being kids? If the kids are ready and the bride and the bridesmaids aren't ready, don't waste time. Photograph the kids, have some fun with them, get them giggling, have some fun. Then when the bride is ready, get them together. You know that these are going to be popular shots. So remember, if you have a repertoire of photographs, like I said before, and something breaks your routine, please do not forego these kinds of shots, because one, you're not doing your job properly. Two, you're missing out on a lot of saleable opportunities, because how cute is that? That's just out of camera, natural light coming through. And of course, if you're photographing a group, there's that traditional one looking in the camera smiling. But I know already, because these girls are so cute together, I got the flowers on the other side of them, and then I cropped closer, and then we got this cute little shot. So group shots, if nothing else than what I've been teaching you in all these segments regarding groups and families, remember, it doesn't have to be bridesmaids, it doesn't have to be groomsmen, it doesn't have to be a bridal party, it doesn't have to be in the context of a wedding. Just take the veil off, take the notion that it's a wedding off. Here's a bunch of guys, here's a bunch of girls, here's a group of families and so on. Here are kids, siblings, best friends, who knows. These principles all apply. Then there'll be times when you photograph just best friends because they just want to look cool. They want to look confident. They want to look like a girl band. They don't want to look like smiling in the camera, too traditional, too boring. They don't want to interact. I just want to look like Destiny's Child or whatever it may be. And remember, playing with foreground background can work both ways. It doesn't have to just be on the other side. It can be, you know, looking over her shoulder and the girls are looking that way. Or they can all look around their shoulder. Like the amount of concepts that we can do, you've got to think of posing like a phone number, as we've already discussed. See, phone numbers, the minute you change a digit, you've got millions of combinations. So therefore, we're using similar digits. A person, a hand, eyes, face, neck, shoulders, feet, they are a digit of a phone number. Now, a human can be a digit of a phone number. You simply change the destiny of where someone is standing or sitting or foreground, background. All of a sudden, you have all of these combinations. So if you want to get really good ideas on group shots, I would suggest look at, you go to Google and Google Vanity Fair Hollywood portraits. So Annie Leibovitz usually every single year will do these incredible portraits of the up-and-coming stars or the Oscar nominees and do these incredible shots. If you look at campaigns like Tommy Hilfiger, Brooks Brothers, Dolce & Gabbana, you will see Guess and things like that. You will see incredible examples of group shots in the way they're posed, in the way they're lit, and so on and so forth. I mean, you look at a shot like this, for example, and I'm obviously playing with light and shadow on the ground. You know, I'm trying to make a pretty boring location look interesting. Then I might break the monotony by doing a slightly different kind of a shot with the girls, knowing that they'll actually be in an album together. So hopefully that gives you sort of an idea. This was just from one wedding. Yes, there were more shots and examples of there, but I wanted to give you a sort of a variety of somewhat traditional ones, somewhat interactive ones, and then some creative ones straight at a camera so you guys can have some confidence that, you know what, this is doable. This is, you can do this. See, a bad shot is better than no shot. So when it comes to families and groups, you have to take responsibility that on the day, it is your responsibility to capture all these. I don't care whether it rains, I don't care whether there's no time, you will be blamed and it will be your fault. When it comes to a family portrait, it is your job to do every combination imaginable, let alone if you have time to do it in a different way. So hopefully that gives you some confidence from one particular wedding. In this next segment, we're going to pay even closer attention to bridesmaids. So looking forward to sharing that with you.